Another portrait study here, one of my favorites that I've recently done, and this is a canvas paper that I glued to a plywood board. And this is, in case you don't know this guy, this is Hayao Miyazaki, the famous Studio Ghibli director, anime director from Japan. And I hope you can see it, there's a little bit of a glare. And this is again this alla prima style wet and wet technique done in one sitting with water mixable oil. And here you can actually see in the background a little bit how I diluted the oil paint with water, and in the foreground it's more straight from the tube, or it's more thicker the mixture, so it's more pigment and also thicker paint application, so you have a little bit of a texture. Actually, if you skim over it with your finger, you can actually feel the texture of it, which I love. Which is not something you should do, right? You don't go into the museum, or you don't go to random paintings and you put your finger on it and like try to pat the surface of the painting. But I love it when artworks have this style that is realistic and at the same time they have this expressiveness and they have this really jovial creativity where you feel this childlike essence kind of when you know, whoever held the brush making the artwork. And I hope you can sense that a little bit, at least in my work, is that you can feel the energy, you can feel the movement, the dynamics, and you can feel the essence of the artist, of course, but also this soulfulness from the expression. So I love both. I love really slow painting where you just diligently sit for hours and hours and days and weeks on a painting. Like I have one here in the background that's a little bit hidden now here. It's a big epic scale painting that took me a couple of months. But I also love these 3 to 4 hours. I think this was 3 hours or 3.5 hours of alla prima painting where you just do it in one sitting and you just try to make the best out of this approach of, I would call it like pulling a shape or pulling the form out of a two-dimensional surface, because in the end we are all working just with 2 dimensions in this case, or it feels like 2 dimensions, like a flat surface, but you have to create form and depth through the brushwork and however you approach a subject, right? Colors, hues, values, all these things. And yeah, this was one of my favorites, not only to paint, but also with the finished result. I was really happy because it has this nice mixture between almost a little bit comic type of style artwork, so not super realistic, but at the same time it had enough realism to recognize him and to give it depth. And I don't know, I just really love this. I really love this mixture of realistic and expressiveness, of this childlike sense of wonder, I guess, that you can also feel in a lot of art. And what I love about his movies is, of course, always reconnecting to nature and the message